We didn't discuss who was.
Oh, it was your pick. I figured you were hosting.
Oh, I wasn't sure because it's part of your big four thing that you always do. So normally you host them all.
Oh, I figured you would host your two and I'd host my two, but whatever. Bye, everybody.
I'll just do this instead.
Perfect.
No, you can host because like I said, it's part of your four thing. We just pick two each.
Fair enough.
That's how it always used to be. It just used to be one video.
Fair enough. That's true. Okay, I didn't know we were considering it that. Fair enough. Well, hello, ladies and gentlemen. I am James Phoenix, and welcome to the first of our series of Christmas holiday-themed reviews we'll be doing for the month of December. Christmas! I didn't put a Christmas shirt on. Hang on a minute. I have a hat here somewhere. Where's my hat? Oh, where's my hat?
Christmas, people. While he's looking for his hat, yeah, what we're doing is, like normal, we pick a series of things each to review, and we're going to be in them together for all of them except one of his, which is Nutcracker. And we have this, and we have this one. We have the Polar Express,
Yes.
Arthur Christmas, and Jim's doing the Nutcracker.
Yep. I'll be doing that Nutcracker, and that'll be a solo. I might see if I can get someone like Rick or Simon to show up for that one. Maybe that way I don't have to do it alone. Maybe Stacy even.
I wouldn't mind being in that. If I could be in that if you wanted someone to be in it. It was just I didn't have means to watch it legally,
to get the movie,
so I wasn't
yeah.
going to.
That's fair enough. Yeah, I mean, if you want to do that, we can do that.
See, people always support the official release.
I mean, and Arthur Christmas.
And just because it's a day of Christmas, a preview of something to come on the gaming zone. Dun dun dun.
Everything is awesome.
Yeah, that.
Everything
In
is
case you're wondering, Jim, when you open it up,
Yep. It's full of bags.
That's where I put my little Lego dimensions.
Nice. Smart.
They're all neat in little money packs, and if they break or fall apart in transit, they stay where they are.
Smart. Where are you
Yeah.
transiting them to?
Yeah, well, at one point we were going to move house, so I got that.
Oh, right.
And then afterwards, I was like, no, it still keeps them neat and clean, and
that works. That's good.
First one of these is White Christmas.
Yes, this is the Christmas special of the hit British show Black Mirror, which for those of you on this side of the pond, it can be found on Netflix.
Yep, which is awesome. It's made by Charlie Brooker. Woo, shout out to him. But yeah, it's made by Charlie Brooker, and basically it's the modern day version of the Twilight Zone.
Something like that.
That's why this show's awesome. Because normally each episode is one story that's standalone-ish.
Mm-hmm.
The Christmas one isn't. It's like 3 stories interweaved into one story. But normally they're one story, but whereas the Twilight Zone used to prey on people's actual fears at the time, of like, oh, what if we're going on an airplane and something unexpected happens, so they made it a gremlin and stuff. This does stuff like one episode is people they're exercising to power computers, but the reason that they want to the reason they're exercising is to get the stuff to use the computer. That's how dependent their life is on technology. Is they get up, use technology to power technology, use technology. And that's what this episode is. It's the Christmas episode, which is 3 episodes weaved together through a narrative.
Yep, it's about 1:15 for those of you wondering.
74 minutes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I never watched. I vaguely heard of this show, but I never really watched it, so I didn't really know what to expect when I started watching this. But it was really good. It was weird, but it was good.
Yep. And that was the reason I recommended it for this one, is because you didn't need to watch the show to watch the Christmas episode.
Which worked out, yeah.
Because each one is standalone, you can literally start anywhere.
Yeah.
Which is brilliant.
It is. It is.
And this stars John Hamm.
It does. John Hamm was in this. That was cool. And although it did seem weird that nobody seemed that nobody thought it was unusual that John Hamm was was speaking in an American accent and everybody else was British around him, that didn't seem to bother anybody.
To be fair, in the episode, he addressed it must be a British thing once during it, which means he must have been over there for a long time. And we've had Americans living over here before. Now, one of my teachers in school was American.
Oh, okay.
After like a couple of weeks, you don't, or after a couple of months or however long, you don't start then questioning him every week of, wait a minute, why are you the only American?
True.
So it works.
Yeah.
It's like in
Well,
American TV, if a British person's been living there for years, no one questions it.
true. But when you're the only American and you're conveniently the only witness accessory to a murder.
Yep. But the stories involved are, what do you call it? Augmented reality.
Yes.
So you could ignore people in regular life and it just blocks them into silhouettes, which is awesome.
Yeah, that's interesting. And the advanced technology they showed of being able to get what they refer to as a cookie, where they can basically make a copy of your personality and put it in a little device, and then they can go into it like a virtual world and interact with the virtual copy of you that doesn't know it's a copy, unless you tell it.
Which is so dark.
A little bit.
Just because to that creation, it's alive, it's sentient, and he literally spends a while like turning it up into solitary to break it. Like I said, yeah, you don't want to break it too much. If you do, it's fine. We just sell it to a game and they use it as cannon fodder in some war thing. And you're like, holy fuck! Especially when you're dealing with sentient beings, that's kind of dark. Which is why I love this, because yeah, to them that's just a normal thing.
Yeah. All right. Well, we'll try it for 6 months this time.
Yep.
Yeah, that was really interesting. The premise of the story is that John Hamm and another gentleman. I don't know any of the British people in this except for the one that played Tonks in Harry Potter. But anyway, John Hamm is at this supposedly this remote outpost where he's worked with this other guy for 5 years, and they start discussing their past, having not really done that. And it begins with John Hamm in the first two telling two stories of two different things from events from his past, leading into the other guy telling something from his past in the third.
Yep.
The first one was John Hamm starts off. He tells a story about how he one of the things that's in the future is that everybody the way that blocking works is everybody has implants in their eyes and ears, basically their brain. And so that's why somebody could say, "Oh, I block you," and you become everything. Time they see you in person or in pictures or anything, you become a silhouette, and your voice turns into a teacher from Charlie Brown.
Yep.
And that's kind of scary.
Although the first one wasn't really about that. That was just the end little bit when he comes home with his wife.
Yeah,
the main chunk of that was
right. But the point, well, I was just explaining the concept of the implants to get there. And as part of the implants, people can interconnect through that like a social media type thing. People can talk to each other, whatever else. And so John Hamm is one of a ring of dudes who as a hobby, they will basically they will accept payment from people who are not particularly good in social settings, and they will tap into their vision wirelessly and their hearing, and basically they will walk through and tell them what to do and help them pick up women and get laid.
Yep. Or at least John Hamm seems to do that. The others are more there for entertainment as they're talking about it as episodes of a show. So it seemed more, like I said, it was more like how people nowadays will live stream. Oh, we're going to watch people's reactions to stuff, or we're going to watch people watching a movie, which it's like, why are you watching people do stuff you can do? That kind of defeats the purpose. You should be...
That's true.
Like as much as I've streamed video games, it's weird how big that's become. It's worse when you get people live streaming like award shows. And you're just watching the award shows now. Your experience will be the same as mine.
Indeed.
But that's how the world's evolving, and that's kind of what this was playing off. Those guys were literally live streaming, or whatever you want to call it, a date, that's kind of funny.
Yeah.
I only mention that because, like we said, each thing ties into something, which is a modern day technology. That's the modern day element of there. Augmented reality stuff is also the VR headsets and stuff coming out.
Yeah, this is the next level more advanced, and which would threw me off at first because it took me until partway through this for me to understand. Oh, this isn't some future with more advanced technology than we have. Okay, that's how he's doing this.
Yep.
I didn't pick that up at first, but I get it. And are we doing spoilers? I guess we can do spoilers. Um,
Yeah, we can do spoilers. Might as well.
yeah, I didn't know. But the premise of this one is basically they're helping this poor sap. John Hamm explains that normally they'll just send him to regular bars and clubs to try to pick up women, but in the Christmas season, there's an extra step they can go, and they crash office work Christmas parties. Because, as John Hamm puts it, the women there they've been dealing with work losers all year. They want to let their hair down, and have some fun. And so they use social media and things to basically help the guy get in there, pretend that he works for the company, so that he can get in with the women from the company.
Yep.
And he finds this girl and ends up picking her up, but there's a miscommunication where she sees him talking to himself and doesn't realize what he's doing. And yeah, it turns out she's a schizophrenic off her meds and thinks that he's also crazy, and she ends up poisoning him and her.
How could she possibly have got that idea? She just walked in on him in a room, talk about the voices, and then making them stop forever. Which I do love the fact when when the death happens and it basically involves both of them dying. All of John Hamm and his team go dark. They just leave and just delete everything. They're like, oh shit, what the fuck have we done?
Yeah, John Hamm just puts all shit in a garbage can, just pours shit on it to destroy it all.
Yeah, which is how he ends up waking his wife.
Yeah, he trips over his kid's toys that his stupid kid left in the hallway and didn't put away. Damn kids.
Yeah.
And ends up waking his wife up, who finds out about what happens, and she blocks him.
Yep, which is when
Which,
we get introduced to being blocked
yep,
or ignored.
yeah, which is interesting. And John Hamm explains that that's why he's working at this long distance outpost. Is after all that went down, and his wife left him and took his daughter with her. That he wanted to get away from everything, get away from that life, and not have to think about that. Which is why he's at this remote outpost.
Yep.
Yeah. And then as John Hamm continues trying to get the other guy to warm up and talk a little bit, he seems a little uncomfortable. John Hamm tells another story saying, "Oh, they how many guys pick up women is something I did as a hobby on the side. You'll never guess what my actual job was."
And that was
And
the cookie.
that was the cookie, and they explained that his job was when people could. We see this particular woman go into the hospital, and she seems to be a hoity-toity upper class type, very particular about her toast. And basically, the idea is that she was able to make a copy of her consciousness, have it implanted in an AI device, and the copy of her could be enslaved to run everything in her house, so it ran perfectly exactly how she wanted it because it was her running it.
Yep.
Which is kind of a horrifying concept.
Yeah, but the way the cookie comes around is horrifying. Having your house controlled is very similar to like the Amazon Echo and a load of stuff that's out there at the moment that does similar.
Yeah.
And we would all want it to know what we would like it. Because let's face it, we all like our gadgets, but at times you want it just to be more accessible. Like, oh, if I turn on, like right now, let's say I had this vape and I was like, oh no, I'm out of vape. I would like it if it knew and automatically refilled based on how much I use it.
That would be awesome.
Or you know what I mean? Or like they said with the refrigerator, when it gets low, the little cookie replenishes the stock. It makes the toast how she wants it.
Yeah, wakes her up at the right time, plays her music, throws her planner up so she can see what she has to do for the day.
Yeah, which is very horrifying how it happens. Really understandable why people would want it.
Yeah, and John Hamm's job was he was the setup guy for this. Is he would basically take the cookie, which is a little egg-shaped device, and he would basically say, "Okay, so here's the thing. You're a copy, you're a cookie. Your job is to sit here and be a slave and to run this house. And I'm going to basically they can manipulate the how you perceive the passage of time within one of these. And so basically he can say, okay, I'm going to set this, and you're going to experience 6 days in 3 minutes."
Yeah.
And so basically, we're just going to leave you alone in there until you go partially insane. And you get that having this job and running a house and doing that is better than sitting in there and going insane with nothing to do for the rest of your existence.
Yep, and it works.
But you got to be careful not to break him, otherwise just give him to the game industry for some cannon fodder and to shoot him up.
Yep.
And in terms of John Hamm's been telling these stories, and as we cut back to the present, the other guy finally opens up about something in his past, and we finally get to what is more the real meat of the story. And that is that this gentleman tells the story of how he was dating a young lady by the name of Bethany, and they had a good relationship. And they went out to some parties, met some office people. It was a nice time. And one day he discovered that she was pregnant and hadn't told him. And they have a big fight about this as he wants her to keep the baby and thinks they should be a family, and she wants to have an abortion. And they have a fight about this, and she blocks him and leaves. And the story shows what happens to him as a result of being permanently blocked by her, because the block doesn't go away unless she turns it off.
To be fair, she didn't just block him and leave. She blocked him and she said, "It's only for a little bit. Let me cool down." And he threw a vase near her and stuff like that. So
yeah, he has anger management issues.
Yeah, so she got scared and left.
Yeah, so she got scared and left, and then she didn't come back. And then he stalked her like a creepy dude for many, many years. Specifically, after he hasn't seen her for a little while, he sees her, or the silhouette of her, and realizes based on the silhouette that she is pregnant and did not actually go through with getting rid of the baby. And it's like, oh, I have a child, and tries to get in contact with her again, and that doesn't work, and he just comes off like a creepy stalker.
And as they mentioned, unfortunately, the blocking is passed paternally.
Yeah, and the blocking extends to offspring if it's because she went to the police, and because she could just manually block, but you could also put a legal block in place that's enforced by law enforcement, which is what she did. It was the equivalent of a restraining order. You can't go within 10 yards of her. And so, and the block is passed, to offspring, so he can't even see the child when it is born. He couldn't figure out how to contact her again, but knew where her father lived somewhere up in the mountains. And so he drove up there and initially saw her with the baby and everything. And so he made an annual tradition every Christmas of driving up there to see her and the silhouette of her and the baby at her father's house. And after a couple of years, he's able to figure out, just based on the silhouette of her clothing, that it's a little girl that he has. He has a daughter. And he basically leaves little gifts for her each year that he's there, until about 4 years later. The child is about 4, and he sees a report on the news that Bethany died in a train accident. There was a train crash. And because she died, the legal block was automatically lifted at her death, which also lifted the block on his daughter, he realizes. So he heads up again to the father's house in the mountains, what would be the grandfather's house, is Bethany's father's house, to try to find the little girl. And he gets there to find her. And mind you, he's been the entire time like creepy obsessed with her, like trying to find her, writing letters to her that aren't getting answered. And it's hard because even your memories are a problem. Because even when he looks at pictures of them that they took together, she's blurred out in the pictures too, which just makes it that much worse.
To be fair, that's not creepy. He just wants to get to know his daughter.
Yeah, but we know that. But to anybody else watching what this dude is doing, it looks really creepy.
Yes, but we, the audience, have the context, therefore it doesn't seem as creepy.
True. But anyway, now realizing that his daughter will be unblocked because of Bethany's unfortunate death, he drives up there to meet her. And he drives up there, and he's initially just going to leave the gift, but the little girl is standing in the front yard building a snowman, I believe it was. And he goes and introduces the little girl, only to find out that the little girl is Asian. And he then has a flashback to shortly before he found out she was pregnant. They went to a holiday party, and one of the ways that he found her in the first place was talking to a couple of her co-workers, one of which was an Asian dude, which is when he puts 2 and 2 together and realizes she was cheating on him, which is why she wanted to have the abortion and didn't want to go through with a relationship with him, because he'd find out that the baby wasn't his.
Yep.
So he goes inside and gets in a fight with the grandfather, Bethany's father, who is heavily Scottish. And basically they get in an argument where the father confesses, yeah, all those letters you were writing, Bethany, I intercepted them and I destroyed them all because my daughter didn't need you in her life. And he gets pissed off, and he brought a snow globe for the little girl, and he bashes the grandfather's skull in with a snow globe and kills him.
And I will just say for people watching, he's not heavily Scottish, he's just actually Scottish. He's not watered down Scottish, he's just Scottish.
Fair enough. But anyway, so he in his again his fit of lack of anger management that he demonstrated with Bethany earlier, he cracks Grandpa over the head with the snow globe that he brought, and it kills the poor guy. And then he goes into this emotional, "Oh God, what have I done?" And he runs out and leaves.
Yep.
And we come back into the cabin where John Hamm is trying to coerce the last of the story out of him, and asking, what happened what happened to the little girl. And he says, "Oh, I don't really know. I only know what they told me. So what did you tell me?" And he explains that um, the little girl was obviously left there alone, and that was on Christmas Eve that this event happened when the grandfather died. And by Boxing Day, which for those of you on this side of the pond would be the day after Christmas, she realized that help wasn't coming, and so she gave her grandfather, who was still sitting there dead, a present she had made, and went out in the snow to try to find help, but she froze to death in the snow, which was just sad.
Yep.
And as we come back to the present, John Hamm gets him to say the words "I confess," and we find out that the version of this gentleman we're seeing is actually a cookie that was taken from the actual prisoner's head, who's been locked in a jail cell refusing to talk about what happened. And John Hamm was conveniently there because he got arrested for that little problem of witnessing a murder he failed to report, as mentioned in the first story. And so he made an agreement with the cops that they would let him go if he could get this dude to confess, which he did in about 70 minutes' time, which is the length of this episode. But as he finds out, it's not all peachy roses, because you're going to get to leave, but you're going to get put on what is the future equivalent of a sex offenders list, which means you're blocked to everybody.
Yep.
And so he walks out, and they all see him as a red silhouette, so they know that he's dangerous, and he sees everybody as white silhouettes, and his life will be a life of complete solitude from everybody in the world. And that's a hard punishment.
Yep. And then, like the woman said, just leave him run and go for Christmas.
Yeah, and then the guy that was the cookie was still in there. They were going to turn him off, but the one police officer was like, "Hey, I was at the time dial, so now he's having 1,000 years a minute," and they start playing the Christmas song. I wish it could be Christmas every day, which is the song playing on the radio in real. And he figures out that where they are is not actually in an outpost. It was the grandfather's cabin in the mountains where the crime happened. He didn't pick it up right away, the cookie, but he realizes it. And that song was playing when he went in there, and the event went down. So they leave him in there living 1,000 years a minute with that song just playing nonstop. And every time he smashes the radio, another one spawns and plays it louder.
Yep.
And he just screams as the camera does this pan out thing where it pans out of the house, and it's in the snow globe, and then it's the house, and then the snow globe, and that was really cool. But yeah, this was really enjoyable, and I wasn't sure what to expect going into this. I really enjoyed it a lot. The acting was good. The future technology looked. The effects of the future technology were really cool. It gives you it's a good enough show where it gives you a level of discomfort, a level of just enough fear that it's giving you that tingling on the back of your neck a little bit, but not so much fear as something that might be more direct. Like it's not like it's not like watching Freddy and Jason or something. It's more, it's not this outright. Oh, here's fear. Somebody's gonna kill you. It's more fear of this is possible. This could happen in the future, and I or anybody I know could end up in these situations. This is horrifying because you have to think about this. Everything that happened to the not John Hamm guy would have been avoided if it were not for the block, and he would have easily seen with the bat, wait, that ain't my kid, and that whole thing would have been avoided.
Yep.
Which is just horrifying. And of course, the technology led to John Hamm and the other dudes with the guy at the party that got poisoned. Technology caused that and everything else. So technology is really helpful, but there's a lot of horrifying consequences of technology that we don't always think about.
Yeah, that's why this series, it's not really spine-tingling or horror or anything. It's satirical in a lot of ways. It is satirical, but it also does that, preying on the fears of what could happen with technology, which is cool.
Yeah.
Which it says it all when they actually kind of predicted something.
What's that?
Series 1, there was an episode over there about the Prime Minister of the UK
Okay.
getting blackmailed through internet by these like internet trolls type things, where he couldn't do anything unless he does what they say, and they just wanted to ruin him for life. So they made him have sex with a pig, an actual pig.
Okay then.
And as he walks away and stuff, he finds out, all people weren't talking about how he's the victim. All people were doing is going, he had sex with a pig. That's all they were talking about, and that's all they were looking at.
Yeah.
Over here, from a not too credible source, there was a report after that our actual prime minister may have put his penis in a pig's mouth for like an initiation. There's not. I'm not going to say one way or the other. There's no evidence to say it is 100% true, and there's no evidence to say it's 100% false.
Mhm.
But the evidence in question is really questionable.
Yeah.
However, for months afterwards, no matter what came out in the news, all people could do is go, he had sex with a pig.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what people are like. And I'm like, bro, that's such a horrible thing to have predicted.
Yeah, that's wow.
So oddly specific, too. But
It is. I know that's bizarre.
But yeah, like I said, you should try the rest of the series. This was the Christmas episode is at the end of series 2. Because they did the Christmas one to celebrate its leaving from TV, and then it's gone to Netflix for series 3 onwards.
Mhm.
That's why Netflix got the rights in America, because it's now a Netflix show.
That makes sense.
It moved to Netflix because the guy who makes it, Charlie Brooker, said there's a lot of reasons for it because it was still getting the rating, so it could have had another series. However, he feels that while it's on Netflix, he doesn't have to cater towards ad breaks or or he doesn't have to worry about going too far with some of the stories, so he can go as far as he wants.
Yeah, and he can go. He can go for 75 minutes instead of 60 minutes. It doesn't throw off all the TV scheduling.
Pretty much. Although to be fair, the Christmas one did air on TV.
Oh, okay.
It was only 74 minutes because it was a Christmas special.
Okay.
They're normally longer, so we made it a little longer. Normally the episodes are around an hour.
Oh, fair enough.
But yeah, I like this, and it
Yeah.
fulfills the need, which won't be addressed in any of our other ones we're doing. But I do like Christmas specials where Christmas is not really all the episode is. Like, you can watch this episode any time of the year, and it's still relevant.
Yeah, it just happens to take place at Christmas. Christmas is not integral to the story.
No, although they do use Christmas as a framing device and some other stuff, so it is important.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's not all there is. It's not like, oh, look, it's just Christmas, so therefore it's still good regardless.
Yeah.
Which I like that. I like
Yeah.
Christmas specials that do that.
Yeah, that's always nice to have that once in a while when you're getting so lambasted with Christmas, Christmas, Christmas in your face.
I don't just mean that. I mean, most shows, for example, I'm not going to name shows because that might be mean because they do a good job. But there's shows that do Christmas episodes, and when you watch them, you're aware, okay, it's just a Christmas episode. You could remove that from the entire series, and it has no impact. I like ones where it feels like the Christmas special is as good as the rest of the stuff, or in series that are multiple storylines at once. Like running series where they actually make it so the Christmas special is part of the important stories.
Yeah.
That's always good.
And that is always good to have, so that you can can enjoy it and not just enjoy it because it's a Christmas thing, but enjoy it.
Yeah, like
because
the
it's a good
Office
episode.
UK. Like the Office UK ended with its Christmas special, so did Extras.
Okay.
The Christmas special, which did have feel good moments, but they also had really sadness and stuff. They would Christmas wasn't really important to them. They just happened. They just did them as the Christmas special. I'm like, that's cool.
Cool.
And you can't remove them because they're the closure to the series.
Yep.
But I'd give this a firm watch because it's on Netflix and stuff. I would say buy the series too, but we're just reviewing the episode, so I'm going to say the episode is a firm thumbs up for me. It's a really good episode.
Yeah, I agree. I would definitely give this 85 to 90. Great episode. Lots of great acting. I will say, if you haven't watched the show before, it may take you about 20 minutes to understand where the episode is coming from and to really get the world that we're placing this in. But after that, you'll really enjoy the rest of it. And that's a lot of fun.
Like I said, to be fair, that's how the first episode of season 1 is as well. They're all like that.
Okay, fair enough.
There's no like crypt keeper to introduce you with. Now we're welcome to the world of tomorrow.
I don't think the Crypt Keeper said that.
No, he didn't. That was on Futurama. But we're dealing with time travel, so it would
True.
have to be something like that.
Also, by the way, that
It
reminds me.
just does the episode.
Yeah. That reminds me. Speaking of time, one hilarious thing I did enjoy was the in joke they stuck in there. Did you catch the in joke?
A witching joke.
There was an in joke when John Hamm is talking to the other guy in the cabin at one point, right before between the first story and the second story, and they're sitting there talking, and there's like what what do you his name? John Hamm says, I only help guys pick up chicks, and get laid on as a hobby. You'll never guess what my real job is. And the guy takes a guess. First guess is advertising.
Yep.
Get it? Because he plays Dom Draper, the advertising exec on Mad Men.
Yeah, exactly. Which Mad Men is awesome.
That is what I've heard.
That is what I've seen.
Fair enough.
Mic drop. No.
Remote drop.
And now you broke your remote. No. But yeah, like I said, it's good. The second you understand from the get-go, the premise is it's technology taken to its satirical extreme.
Yeah.
It's funny.
It is.
It's funny, but it also does have a message of stop relying on technology.
Yeah. And yeah, we got to be careful. We got to balance it out. But yeah, so that was the first review. As we said, further reviews coming include Arthur Christmas, The Nutcracker, The Untold Story, and the Polar Express, which I don't have in hand yet, but I will coming up. So we will take a look at those over the course of the remainder of the month leading up till Christmas. Was there anything else we're doing this month? I know. For those of you who might be wondering, Enterprise Season 4. Enterprise Season 4 will be in January. We're pushing that back for the sake of focusing on the holiday stuff now. We will be doing Roadblock End of the Line, WWE Raw pay-per-view coming up next weekend.
Yep.
So that'll be good. And yeah, I guess that's it. Can't think of anything else we have off the top of my head.
There is also stuff, but we need to plan the month properly first before we go 100% committed.
Yeah. We gotta. At some point, we're gonna review the rest of the episodes of the Batman Telltale series when we get around to that. A few other things we have to do. But until then, stay tuned. More Christmas specials. Ho, ho,
ho. Jolly.
Banana. We'll see you next time, folks.